Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Master Division with various wins for Dynamic Cliffs and the Yongsan Gardens in the Korean Classics tournament here in Golf Clash the game. Before we take a closer look, make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button. Also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. For those of you that do want to take the next step in your game, you go to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. You have the link in the description down below. You can also scan the QR code here on the screen and you would go directly there. Follow the info box on the right hand side for the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there is always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number 1. This is option number 1 on hole and number 5. I have no doubt that there will be hole-in-ones with this shot here. Red ring, you can see them stretching out to be on the pad with the red ring there by the what it's called island with the ball guideline to hole. And this angle is the good angle, which is going to be the one with less OP, because what we're gonna do is that we're gonna adjust. Let me give you the exact numbers. We're going to play this one max plus a 10p4 is what we're gonna do, and we are going to push up to max always, and in this angle we're gonna be just before circle drop, and in the other angle, which is a more crosswind, we're going to be just after circle break curl. Obviously speed here is gonna be impossible sometimes to not come in too hot, but I'm actually a little bit unlucky here to hit the pin and not get it to drop. And so in the end we're getting on green. Super simple. I've been hitting great left and great right, single greats, still clipped the rough and rolled out for a putt. For those of you who do not have the possibility to play with the ball here on the screen, then I would recommend to check out the simple Lumi layup. Get our guide on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. So for hole number 2, this is a money shot in my opinion. I start with a Marlin to find the one right spin easier and be in complete minimum distance. And we move up to Sniper and we have the Grizzly pack to find min line in a very easy way. 6.5 backspin, 1 right spin, and we are aiming with the tip of the ball guideline in the center of the dark green square that is to the right of the pin. We're looking for a straight pull favoring 12-1 if anything. And this angle is going to be classified as the yellow angle here, which is no curl or no adding or subtracting there either. Center the ball and hit perfect, and this is going to be an extremely good chance of dropping and holding one. If we do have a little bit more tailwind, we would have to use a little bit of left curl, and the only thing that I could see as a risk is that if you aren't centering the ball properly and are using overpower, you could, if once again being very unlucky, clip the first rough. But to be completely honest, we do have a lot of room and we need to make sure to at least center the ball fairly properly, otherwise we're gonna have to blame ourselves. Hole number 2, hole-in-one, money shot. Get the guides on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. On the drive, we are going to look at 2 things mainly, and that is to have the yellow ring to be by the rough line, but also I'm using the leaves with my blue ring, as you can see there on the picture, and then ball guideline into the rough before spin has been applied. So choose whatever reference works best for you. It is hard to see with the yellow ring and the rough line sometimes, especially when the rough kind of blends in together with the fairway. 3 left, 4 top spin, then I'm adjusting, paying close attention to how much I adjust into overpower, and then I shall be using 1.5 ball of left curl together with what OP I adjust into. Have in mind that once you have made your adjustment with a P2 ball, you can swap to a P3 ball for a slower needle completely. I decided to stick with the P2 ball here as that's what I practice it with. And another tip when it comes to the overpower, rather use less than more. So if you are uncertain about if you're using 1.5 or 2 or 1, then I would do a little bit less than what you think. That would be my advice when it comes to the overpower. So again, you can stick with a P2 ball, then you will always have a shaky needle. Then precision ball is obviously recommended, but as using P3 or even P4 ball, then you will have a slow needle all the time, and then the precision is not really that necessary. On the second shot, we're gonna use our sniper. Here we're using 3 right spin and we're also using 1 back spin. Important here now to leave the tip of the ball guideline 1 green square short of pin, or let's say like this, by the divide of the bright and the dark green square row. This is a zone where we're gonna do no tweaks whatsoever. All you see the flag there in the distance, everything right of that flag, we're not gonna do anything. If we do have left of that flag, we are going to tweak by using overpower, just because with more headwind, the ball guideline will lose momentum and speed and will then drop right, or like not drop, but will miss right if then not tweaking anything for it. Now, the second shot adjustment as well will pen somewhere between 9.5 rings up to 11 rings. And the thing is here that I decided to always pull twice over bullseye. And that's something you have to do even if it is less than 10 rings, which is not ultimate, I understand that. But we need to do the same type of pull technique. Otherwise, it's going to create a difference in the outcome of this shot. And again, you don't have to play with a P2 ball here. You can play with any ball that is P2 plus, side spin 3 or better, and wind 5. Get our guides on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. For hole number 8 here, we're gonna start with a power 4 ball in complete minimum distance. I would recommend to start with a 4th anniversary ball or with any other, or like the open ball, to find both the spins and the landing spot the quickest way possible. We're looking to have 1 right spin and 3 back spin, and the tip of the ball guideline to fall down 1/3 into the bright green square row. Here we're looking to go with a 1201 in terms of pull angle, like a small 1201 is what we are looking for here. And this angle here is going to be called for no curl. No curl in this angle, center the ball, hit perfect, and we're going to actually have a better chance to drop this one than I expected from the beginning playing this shot, because I actually dropped this one a decent amount in practice to then obviously miss live when it counted. So there we do have hole number 8. Nice simple setup. Hole number 8 should never be a par 3 you should be expecting to drop, but with this shot you definitely have a good chance. Get the guides on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Take your game to the next level with our ultimate tournament text guides for expert and master division, not just for 18-hole tournaments but also for 9-hole cups. You can scan the QR code here on the screen or go directly to patreon.com/golfclashtommy using the link in the description down below. You will notice there that we do not just offer tournament guides. We do have a checkpoint challenge guides and tour play guides, and you can start as low as $1.50 per month. If you do have any questions or want to see any example guides, you can email support@golfclashtommy.com. So sign up and start improving your game today. Hole number 6, and we're going to play this for an eagle. We will have an outside chance for an albatross, but I'm not going to waste any of the good balls here because this is going to be such a rare one to drop. NMT, start with a P4 ball and switch to a luminary. I would say for those of you that do play with Apocalypse level 6 or 5, should be playing with an albatross ball with topspin boost, or you're going to have to play with a ball with less wind, which is a wind 4 or even a wind 5 for Apoc 5 users. Max distance plus 10, and then we go half a ball of curl trying to hit perfect. The goal is to get to 385 or more.
a great left will be worse because then we are further away from the green. Once again, everyone, you can play with a ball with more wind resistance if you do want to spend that type of ball, but I feel there is no necessity to do so here because this Alba chance will still not be it's still not going to be a shot that's going to drop even if we have the perfect drive and a perfect execution on the second shot. It's still going to have a lot of factors involved, but obviously we will do our best suggestion to the guide to make sure that all Apoc 5 up to Apoc 8 can get into decent range. So when it comes to the second shot, we're looking for the sticky spot, which is on the right side here. Move around, you can see where when the tip of the ball guideline is barely not moving left or right, that's the spot. And then we're going to apply whatever spins needed. So we have 1 green square past the pin and 2 green squares left of the pin. Unfortunately now we do have a problem with me having that great left, which puts me to get into overpower, which is not good, but it's still going to be super duper safe to get ourselves the eagle. Adjustment here is from +4. I played 70% slider plus 20% P5, and then I'm adding and subtracting from there. And now it becomes messy as I go into overpower. I'm going to have to use overpower, and that becomes the miss to the right. Great right has been tested. That wasn't in the rough, and the great left obviously is super safe. If there is no interest in even going for the albatross, then you can get yourself to a spot more left, give yourself miles of room on the right and on the left, and just take the eagle and be done with it. This is unfortunately a very boring win on otherwise a very fun hole if we do have a tailwind. Get the guides on patreon.com/golfclashtommy.
On the drive here on hole number 7, we're going to play on the left hand side to allow us to have a more or less a straight headwind on the approach. A blue ring by the rough line at max P2 with quarterback, that is +10. Then swapping to a Apoc, and then either Falcon or Thorn depending on what short iron you prefer to play with. 5.8 topspin and 1 left spin. The reason we're using the left spin is to keep ourselves into pin check range every time. Adjust max +10 P4 and then center the ball and hit perfect. And as always, when it comes to playing with precision balls like this, there is no need for a precision ball because I mean it's a simple drive, it's a simple second shot, there's no risks if you hit great, more than obviously if you hit great on approach you're gonna miss the hole for the eagle. On the second shot we're gonna play a pin check, and you can see me using the Falcon, and the Falcon is my preferred choice, but again it's tested with Thorn as well, so the number for Thorn is accurate. Half a backspin, 1 right spin, ball guideline into the hole, and that is with both clubs. We do not make any difference of the Falcon and the Thorn when it comes to the landing spot this time. Adjustment here now is from +2 pin check. We play 64% slider with no elevation, P3 numbers, and that is for Falcon 8 and Thorn 9. Falcon 7 do play 68% slider instead. Falcon add 0.1 for every yard, Thorn add 0.1 for every 2 yards. And a perfect ball should have a very high drop rate. Get the best guides on the market by signing up on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Tough par 3 when you do have the bunker in play like that. What we're gonna do is start with P4 min line, 3.6 topspin and 1 right spin, and pack the sniper to easier find min line, ball guideline through the hole, and then you swap into any power 0 to power 2 ball. And you shall adjust now minimum distance -5% elevation, P1 numbers, and this is the yellow angle, which is going to be circle break under power and 1 extra click. So we're going to use under power here to compensate all the way through, because the speed is the difficult part here, and the under power helps with that. This is circle break, and I'm adding 1 extra click. Perfect ball it is, and it bounces into the sand, rolls up, comes in with a good speed, right the pin for a lovely hole-in-one here on hole number 9. Get our guides on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. So for hole number 5, we're going to use a ball that gives us a wind preferably between 8.5 to 9.5 miles per hour. And we're going to use 4 left spin and 3 top spin, half of the transparent ring inside the rough. And then we are going to adjust max plus 10 P3. Apocalypse level 7 and level 6 is going to, Apocalypse level 5, 6 and 7 is still going to do the same type of adjust. The only difference there is that we're going to have to go with half a ring extra movement to the left with Apocalypse level 5. And the reason for that is the lesser curl it does have on that club. The goal is to get the ball to the green area, and even if the rough stands very close there, it's a very forgiving rough. Otherwise we would have played it further back. For those of you that do not want to flirt with the hazard there by the green, could reduce and play 2.5 bar topspin instead, and aim for clipping the rough with the first bounce and roll out for a wedge to be around 75%. You will notice both of them, both of the wedges in the recordings that we do have. One other thing, when it comes to having higher wind, if you still want to keep the Kingslayer, if you have wind between 9.5 and 10 miles per hour, you push up half a ring after the adjustment. If you do have a wind that is above 10 miles per hour, you push up 1 ring after the adjustment to compensate for adjusting down the cliff. But the easiest way is to switch to a wind 5, side spin 4, P3 ball. So if being very close to the green, I would say that this is going to be better to play with no top spin here, as the green is very glitchy, and that's not something we do want to play into, because that would risk us missing. And so we avoid that. We play a regular EB school plus 20 elevation P3 numbers, and here I play this one 35% slider. Aiming at the hole, once again, no spin is being played. Making the adjustment and then hitting perfect. And then this ball is going to drop. And make sure to take a look at the other wedge video that we do have. If you do clip the rough, and then so for the longer wedge here, and that is if you do clip the rough, on with the drive and roll out, then you do have around a 75 to 80% wedge. Here I play 80% slider plus 20% elevation, P3 numbers and no spin. I wouldn't recommend the max top spin due to glitchy spots on the green, and so we're playing this one no spin. But again, this is only if we clip the rough. We are most likely not going to clip the rough and roll out, but it's good to have as a backup. And also if you do decide to do less top spin, to not risk going into the bunker or something like that. So that's something that is worth to have in mind. Perfect ball, and this is gonna go in, and that's nice to end up here with an eagle. Get the guides on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. So on the drive here, we are using the red ring by the rough line in complete max with Apocalypse level 8. And then we have 20% of the red ring overlapping the rough line to the left. And then we do have half of the red ring overlapping with Apoc 5 and 6. 5 top spin, 1 left spin. This can be played with a wind 4 and wind 5 ball. So if you don't want to spend a paid ball, you can use a Centurion or a Kingslayer or any other that do have side spin 1 and wind 4 minimum. Here I'm looking at that transparent line going from the ball to the ball to be just by the edge of the triangle. It's approximately 1.3 ball if we're going to measure it like that, and we are looking to get this ball up to around 370 to 380 yards. On the second shot on hole number 9, we are going to do a fringe check where the fringe meets the green. And we can play this shot with B52 level 5 plus, as it is a rough bump, then we're not relying that much on the ball guideline. 1.6 topspin and 1 right spin. Half of the red ring outside the rough to be on the fairway with the ball guideline to go through the hole. Adjustment here now, we do have the +1 as a base, and the +1 as a base is going to be 76% slider with a 25% elevation power 3 ball settings, and then we're adding 0.1 from there. So if it would be +3 fringe check, for an example, we would still do the 76% slider, but we are then adding 0.2 to that adjustment. Perfect ball, and this is going to be a very good chance, as it is a straight crosswind. Over or under adjusting or hitting a great ball will not be any problems whatsoever, and the reason for that is that we once again have a straight crosswind, and the rough is perfectly aligned with that. Hole number 9, good chance in my opinion. This shot can be played with a Win 4 ball as well, such as a Centurion or a Kingslayer, for those that do not want to use a paid ball. Get the guides on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Master Division for the Namei Cliffs and the Yongsan Gardens in the Korean Classics tournament. Scan the QR code there on the screen or go directly to patreon.com/golfclashtommy for checkpoint challenge guides, tour guides, and also tournament guides. In the end here, I want to wish you the best of luck in your Golf Clash game.